Now, we are going to see the difference between Krishna and demigods. The first one is in numbers. So, God or demigod or Krishna is the only God, one. But if you see demigods or devatas, there are 33 crores, right? So God is only one, Krishna, but demigods are 33 crores. Then we talk of nature of body. Krishna's and demigods. Krishna's body is eternal. What is the meaning of eternal? Eternal means something which doesn't have a beginning nor end. There's no beginning, there's no end. That is called eternal. Or always there. There's no end means it is always there. It was always there, it is there, it will always be there. So Krishna's body is eternal. Whereas the body of demigods, including Brahma, it is subject to death. That is why when demons like Ravan or Hiranyakashipu, when they wanted the benediction from Brahma, that I don't want to die, make me immortal. So that is the time when Brahma said that I cannot do because I myself have to die. So demigods, although they have, in terms of, in compared to human life, they have a very long life, but still they have to die. Death is inevitable for them. Let's talk about nature of work. What Krishna does and what demigods. Krishna, he just enjoys. That's all, that's his job. He plays flute, he takes the cows for herding, he plays with his friends, he plays with his other devotees. That's all, that's his job. Enjoys, because he is the owner, right? If someone is the owner and he has a lot of people working under him, why he should work? Simple thing. There is an incident that one time some devotees, they were collecting donation. So they took an appointment from the owner of a company. And this owner, they were making locks somewhere in Aligarh. So they had never seen, just on phone they inquired and they took the appointment. And they reached there. So as soon as they reached the office, they entered the office of this person. And then they saw he was very busy, because that was the time where, I'm talking in 1980s. So when we didn't have all this system. So there were about 8-10 phones on the table. And this person was so busy, he was picking one phone, keep talking, and then another phone. And these people, they were just waiting, standing there. So after around 10 minutes, they were just waiting. So this person looked at them and said, yes, what do you want? So they were thinking, he's so busy. By the time we will explain him that, why have we come, what is our institution and why we want donation, he won't have time. So how will we explain him? So he said, yes, tell me, what do you want? Said, sir, we came to meet you. Said, to meet me? So tell me. So I said, no, we had taken an appointment. So he said, oh, you want to meet Mr. So-and-so? He said, yes. Okay, please go there, the first cabin. Oh, so they realized, this is not the person. So they were thinking, if he's so busy, what about him? Whether he'll even talk to us. So they said, when they entered the chamber, the owner was like an old Marwadi person. So when they entered the chamber, there were no table, no chairs, nothing. There was on the floor, there was a mattress with nice pillows, and there was a TV. in that room. That's all. And only one phone. And this person was lying down very nicely and was watching TV. So then they realized he is the owner. Right? That person, he was not the owner. Because he was actually he was secretary, So he is working so much. This person was, he has so much money. Why he needs to do all this? He can hire people to do work. So similarly, Krishna, he just enjoys. But demigods, they have to do all the administration work, a lot of administration of this universe. Yesterday we were discussing, we saw which are the departments like, I'm sure you may not remember all the departments, but any one or two departments? Water, finance, finance everyone remembers, I'm sure, finance. There was one I said you should always remember, placement. He's going to place us. So their duty is to keep doing the work, but Krishna just enjoys. Let's talk about nature of residence of Krishna and demigods. Since Krishna is eternal, his residence or his place also is eternal. His kingdom is eternal, spiritual world. Whereas demigods, since they are subject to death, so their planets also, heaven which we call it, it is also subject to destruction. Many a times, people confuse heaven with spiritual world. Heaven is a part of material world. Today we are going to see what is material world and what is spiritual world. But heaven and spiritual world, Swarga or Adhyatmik Jagat, these are two different things. Heaven is not part of spiritual world. Heaven is also subject to destruction. Whereas spiritual world is eternal. But people confuse. That is why if somebody dies, they write Swargavasi. Right? He has become Swargavasi. So actually, there's no point in becoming Swargavasi because you are still not liberated. Let's talk about the nature of position. We are discussing different things. So Krishna is eternally supreme. And demigods, please understand, they are temporary post. Very important point for all of us to understand. Krishna is eternally supreme. Eternally means he was supreme, he is supreme, he will remain supreme. Whereas demigods, they are just post. That means today somebody is Brahma, tomorrow someone else will become Brahma. Today somebody is Indra, tomorrow someone else will become Indra. But Krishna is not a post. God is not a post. Please understand. And that is the reason no one can become God. God is God. You cannot become God. Please understand. There are some institutions, there are some religion where they propagate that you can become God. But no, you cannot. Why? Because it is not a post. You can become Indra, you can become Chandra, you can become Varun, you can become Yamaraj also. You can become Brahma, but you can never become Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is not post. Krishna is Krishna. Right? I'll give you an example. Like in our country, we have Prime Minister post, President post. So some person comes on the Prime Minister post, stays for some time, then someone else can come. It's like open. Anyone can become Prime Minister of India. Similarly, demigods are like post. But the person who is on the Prime Minister's post, who is the Prime Minister post today? Narendra Modi ji. So anyone can become Prime Minister, but can you become Narendra Modi? How can you become Narendra Modi? He is himself, right? Yes, you can always become Prime Minister. Similarly, demigods are post. So anyone can become a demigod, Devata. but you can never become God. You can never become Krishna. Krishna is eternally supreme God. Please understand this. So that is nature of... Now, motives of worship. When we worship God, what is our motive? I was discussing yesterday, if you remember, that God is worshipped for love. We worship God, we worship Krishna because we love Him. That's all. But when somebody worships demigods, generally there is a tendency to give and take. I'm doing something, I should get something. Desires, fear, etc. But with Krishna, it's only love. When we talk of worship, fruits of worship, when we worship Krishna, what do we get? And when we worship demigods, what do we get? When we worship Krishna, we get eternal fruits. Whatever we get is eternal, like bhakti. Let me tell you, when we perform bhakti, bhakti means serving the God, serving Krishna, chanting of His name, serving Him in any way. When you do that, the results are eternal. The fruits of worship. That means, suppose in this life, you have started performing bhakti and you could complete only up to 29%. Say for example, you could not achieve 100% perfection. You could do only 29%. From your next life, you will begin from 30%. You will not have to start again from 1%. That is eternal, that is always be there. But that is not the case with demigod worship. When you do demigod worship, whatever you get or whatever you desire and whatever you get is material and temporary. Why is that? Because demigods themselves are material and they themselves have this post as temporary. It's not eternal post. So whatever they can give will also be material and temporary. Like for example, if you worship a demigod and you may get a long life, for example. But how long? You may live for 100 years, 120, 150. After that, you'll die, right? And the next life again. Suppose by worshipping some demigod you get good knowledge of this material world. He gives you some intelligence to understand, very nice, and you become engineer, you become doctor, you become PhD. And then what happens in the next life when you're born again? Have you seen any child born with a certificate of engineering or medical? That, hey, I did my engineering from the best college of Bombay. Don't teach me ABCD. What happens with that? He's born again and he's taught again. Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bag full, whatever, right? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. We just start again. So what is the use of getting a PhD and becoming engineer? Everything is gone. That is called temporary results. But bhakti, I say 29%, you start with 30%. That is why many times in the houses it is seen. We have met many people like that who bring their children and say, just 3-year-old, but very devoted to Krishna. Nobody in the family is devoted to Krishna, but this child is very devoted to Krishna. That means he has already performed bhakti in his previous life. And in this life, he is just continuing it. Right? Because bhakti is not part of life. What we think. In general, we think performing bhakti or doing, coming to God, etc. is just part of life. Actually, bhakti is not part of life. Our life is part of bhakti. Bhakti is eternal. In this life, next life, life after life, you're going to do that. And this life is just a small part in that. And that is why it is quite possible that your child may have performed bhakti in last life and he's just continuing it. So bhakti is eternal, or the fruits of worshipping Krishna is eternal. And very important thing, how do they take care of us? When we go to demigods, they give us what we want. Very nice, isn't it? That's good. They give us what we want. And when you go to Krishna, He gives us what we need. He doesn't give us what we want. That is why many times people are scared to come to Krishna, right? They say it's not a Jagrit Devasthana. In Mumbai, we have this term called Jagrit Devasthan. Jagrit Devasthan means where our desires are fulfilled, that is Jagrit Devasthan. Others are sleeping. Jagrit means awake, right? So that's why they're scared to come to Krishna, because Krishna doesn't give you what you want. Why? Because Krishna is like a father. And demigods, I'm sorry to say this, but they are like shopkeepers. Suppose a child goes to a shopkeeper, gives him some money, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, whatever the cost, and says, give me a packet of a cigarette. Packet of cigarettes, say 555, right? Which are the cigarettes? I don't know. When we were in college, we only heard 555. I don't know, maybe that. So he goes and gives the money. The shopkeeper will take the money and give the cigarette packet. But the same child goes to his father and says, I need a packet of cigarette. So what will the father do? Of course, if it is India. So what will the father do? Will he say, yes, my child, thank you. Now you are growing up. You are 3-year-old. Take this. Start smoking. No, he will give you 5 here and 5 there and 5, 555, right? So Krishna is like a loving father. When we go and ask him something which is not good for us, he doesn't give. He gives only what we need. But demigods, they are bound to give. Like Brahmaji, he was bound to give to Ravan. He was bound to give to Hiranyakashipu, understanding it that they are going to create trouble, but he was bound to give. So they are bound to give. But Krishna is not bound to give. He gives what we need. So he's like a loving father. So that is a very important difference. So this is in summary what we discussed about Krishna and demigods. But how do we deal with the demigods? Right? Okay, now all of you have heard Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and then you have seen how much benefit is there. It's eternal, position is eternal, fruits are eternal, Krishna is eternal. Then how do we deal with demigods? With respect. For example, if we know, we respect the police constable along with the police commissioner, isn't it? Because he is also a representative. So when we talk about devatas, we don't disrespect them. We are not against devatas or demigods. Please understand. We are against considering them as supreme, which is wrong, not as per the Shastra. But demigods in themselves are on a very high position. They are chosen by God, they are chosen by Krishna for a very responsible job. They are not people like us. So that is why we should always treat them with respect. There are two things, respect and worship. We respect demigods, but we don't worship them as supreme. Respecting is a different, we respect everyone. But we don't worship everyone. We worship only Krishna because he is supreme. But yes, we respect everyone, including demigods. So that is why devotees deal with demigods with great respect. Now, the last question before we end this section. Can anyone become God? I've already answered, but I want to hear from you. Can anyone become God? No. Why? Sorry? Because he is supreme. And I gave one more reason now, today. He's the owner, okay? And it is not a post. Thank you. It is not a post. Right? If it is a post, then anyone can become. But it's not a post. Then how can you become God? God is God. Simple. It's not a post. That for 10,000 years Krishna is God, and then there will be elections, and maybe next 10,000 years Durga will become God or something like that. No. So this is not opposed, so no one can become God. And another reason why we cannot become God is that as soul, we are one with Krishna in quality, but we differ in quantity. For example, here you can see drop of ocean. If you take a drop of ocean, it has the same quality as that of ocean, right? It is salty or whatever you can say. But then, is there a difference between a drop and the ocean? Definitely. In quantity. Similarly, difference between soul or all of us, jiva. We now please, sometimes when we refer, we say our soul. Yesterday some people were asking me a question, and while asking they were saying, when our soul comes out of the body. I didn't stop them, but now I'm telling you, we should stop saying that. When you say our soul, means we are different from soul. Right? This is my garland. That means I'm different from the garland. These are my clothes. That means I'm different from the clothes. This is my body. That means I'm different from this body. This is my soul. That means I'm different from the soul, which is a wrong thing. So we should, whenever we have to refer to soul, we should say we. So we are one in quality with Krishna. Whatever qualities Krishna have, we also have. Krishna has all the qualities, we also have that qualities, but in minute quantity, not in the quantity which Krishna has. And this is another reason that soul or we can never become God, because this is our constitutional position. We will always remain a drop, and Krishna will always remain an ocean. This is the constitutional position which cannot change. And that is why we cannot become Krishna, or we cannot become God. So we are not gods. If you read the statement down, we are not gods, but we are God apostrophe S. We are gods. We belong to Him. And this is what our understanding is. And we can see, like when we try to become God, see the difference in creation. We create a plane which can float for a few hours or something. God has created planets which are floating from time immemorial, right? Of course, nowadays we have some satellites also, maybe for some long time, but ultimately they also have a time span. So we are finite, God is infinite, we are Jivatma, God is Param Atma. Param Atma means supreme soul. That is the difference. So we are not creators, we are not enjoyers, we are cooperators. We should cooperate with Krishna. As Krishna instructs in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, the material nature, he says, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. So this material world where we are, all of us, this is working under Krishna's direction. And he says the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will it is annihilated at the end. So this is about the material world. Krishna says that know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creation spring from but a spark of my splendor. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, now we were talking about can we become God or Krishna, how Krishna is God, we have discussed. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, Ete chamsh kalaha pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. In that chapter, lot of incarnations are mentioned. And after mentioning lot of incarnation, Vyasadeva says, all the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. And all the great sages confirm Krishna's supremacy. Like here we are seeing, Arjuna says, this is from Bhagavad Gita, Ahustvam rishya sarve deva rishir naradastatha asito devalo vyasa swayam chaiva bravishime. He says all the great sages such as Narada, Asit, Deval and Vyasa confirm that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Arjuna is saying this to Krishna. And the great acharyas like Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who is Krishna, so they have all confirmed that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what we have to understand. Now Krishna is God. We have understood out of 5, 2 subjects, Jiva and Krishna. And what are the 3 remaining? Any of you? 5 subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. Soul, Supreme Soul, Atma, Paramatma is over. We have learned who is God, what are Jiva. What are the 3 remaining? Karma, time, very good, Kal and Prakruti. 3. So we are going to discuss this. Now what happens to us here in this material world, that we have to take birth again and again. And in various species we take birth. Sometime human, sometime animal. It is not that the human life is the only life. So many times, like here you can see different species we have to take birth. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam zara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuhyati. That in this life also we change body, and when we die, we leave this body and take a new body. So now we are going to discuss what is it that puts us into the new body. Is there any law? Is there anything that decides? Who decides? How will we get the new body? Right? All of you got this body. Before you got this body, were you given a form to fill before you entered the womb of the mother? That okay, where do you want to take birth? And then you said, choices, Bombay, America or London. And you said, no, I don't want America, London. Bombay is better. Okay, second, how do you want your father to be? Millionaire, multimillionaire, a poor fellow? You said, oh, poor fellow, better. When you're given a choice, then who decides? What happens? How do we get the next birth? We are going to discuss then today's section. So today, and now in this section, we are going to discuss briefly about material world, that's called Prakruti, time, Kala, and then Karma. These are the 3 topics which we will cover today. And then tomorrow we will discuss about the yoga system. And then on the last day, practical application. Whatever we have heard in 6 days, how to use all those things in our life, which is very important, right? We keep hearing the theory, we keep hearing philosophy, but how to use that in life, that is important. So that will be the last day. So material world or Prakriti, where we are right now, this is called Prakriti, material world. So now the soul or we, where have we come from? It is said that we have come from spiritual world. And where have we come to? The material world. From the spiritual world, we are into material world. Krishna speaks about spiritual and material world, both in Bhagavad Gita. About spiritual world, about material world. So we will hear something about Prakriti. What is Prakriti or what is material world? Let's see. Actually, this material world where we are, like we are sitting in a place, small place. This is in Mumbai, or this is in Thane, right? You're in Thane. It's in Maharashtra, and then Maharashtra is in India. India is in Asia. Asia is one of the 7 continents, and that makes the whole planet Earth. Like this, there are billions of planets which make our universe, or millions of universes which make galaxy, or do they call it what? Milky Way? Okay. So like this, all these things which we see and which we even don't see, this all is one universe as per Bhagavatam. And like this, there are millions of universes. And they all comprise just 1/4 of the entire world created by Krishna, spiritual world. So 25%, 1/4 of the creation of the Lord is this material world. And this material world is created, maintained, and destroyed. That's what we see. Everything in this world is created, maintained, and destroyed. But still, Prakruti is eternal. This material world is not eternal. Now, I'll just give you a very simple example to understand this. You take mud and then you mix it with water and then you make a pot out of it, right? So then pot is made, pot remains for some time, and after some time pot breaks. And then what happens after it breaks? It's again mud, isn't it? So mud was there before the pot was made, mud was there even when pot was there, and mud is there even when pot is destroyed. So mud is eternal, it's always there. But the pot, it takes shape and then is destroyed. Now just replace mud with Prakruti or material energy and pot with material world. Now same thing. Material world, material energy is always there. Prakriti is always there. It's like mud. But pot, that means the material world, it manifests and then it is unmanifested. It is there, it's not there. So that is why material world is temporary. But spiritual world, it is not temporary. Spiritual world is eternal. Spiritual world is a place where Krishna resides. There are millions of planets there called Vaikuntha planets. Vaikuntha is not one planet. There are millions of planets, and in each planet, one form of Krishna stays there. But Krishna, in his original form, he stays in one planet called Goloka. Goloka Vrindavan is the planet where Krishna stays. And there are so many other planets where Narayan forms are there, other forms are there. Like we have so many avatars, they have their own planets. So all those are there in the spiritual world. So that is all completely called Vaikuntha. But amongst them, the chief planet is Golok Vrindavan. Like India, Bharat is our country. So Bharat is the country, but the capital is Delhi. So everyone, whoever is the main personality, Prime Minister, President, whoever, they are all in Delhi. Because that is the capital. Similarly, Vaikuntha, there are many planets, but the capital is Golok Vrindavan, where the chief personality, Supreme Personality Krishna resides. So that is very briefly about spiritual world. And when that same Krishna, for creating this material world, he expands himself into Mahavishnu. This is given in the Shastras, scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. That same Krishna, he expands into Mahavishnu, and from the pores of Mahavishnu, many universes comes out. You can see here he's lying and the universes are coming out. And then that same Mahavishnu enters into each universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. You must have seen this picture many times where Lakshmi Devi ji is serving the Lord. So this is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. It's expansion of Mahavishnu. And the same Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from the navel, a lotus comes out. If you see the previous picture, see a lotus is coming out and Brahma ji is born on that. So that's how Brahma is born. And then Brahma, he creates this world. And when he creates this world, the same Garbhodakshai Vishnu, then he expands into Kshirodakshai Vishnu, one more form of Vishnu, which we always hear like demigods had problems, so they approached Vishnu. That is Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And he enters into each and every living entity's heart as Paramatma, super soul. So here it's a very nice picture. You can see that in each and every living entity's heart there is Krishna. If all of us understand this, if all of us understand there is only one God who is sitting in everyone's heart as Paramatma, will we fight with each other? Will there be riots? Will there be differences? Differences can be there but not fights. We are talking about universal brotherhood. But universal brotherhood can come only if you accept one God. And you accept this principle that every living entity has Krishna as Paramatma in his heart. If we always remember this, how will we behave with each other? We forget this point, right? When you are shouting at others, when you are chastising others, when you are trying to kill others. But if you always remember that God is residing in this body, so every body will seem to you as a temple of Lord. And then how will you treat that person? This is what spirituality teaches us. This is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us. Bhagavad Gita says, Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shopakecha Panditah Samdarshinaha. He said, one who has taken knowledge, Vidya, he becomes humble, Vinay. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. And how does he see everyone? Whether a Brahman, that is a devotee, Brahmane Gavi, a cow, Hastini, an elephant. He said he sees everyone equally. Why? Because he sees Supreme Lord as Paramatma in everyone's heart. That is the real vision. That is the correct vision. That is the perfect vision for all of us to develop. So this point we have to understand that Lord is there in our heart. And how is he there? In this form as Paramatma, standing on a lotus, having 4 arms. This is the form described in the scriptures, which is residing in our heart as Paramatma. So Lord is in our heart. And this universe, so when this is how it is created, I just gave you how it comes. And then it is destroyed also. Material world is like a spider's web. Spiders creates the web and he winds up also on his own. He takes it back. So this is how the spiritual world is. It is created and then it's again when the time comes, the winding is done. That is a material world. And this material world is compared to a prison house, a facility given to the rebellious souls for an opportunity to serve God and reform themselves. So like what happens in a prison. Prison is generally made for those who have committed something wrong. They should go there, reform themselves, come back and act as a normal citizens. So this is how this material world, it is compared to a prison house. Spiritual world is an eternal reality, and material world here what we see is the perverted reflection. So whatever is there in spiritual world is also here in material world. Whatever we see here has to be there in spiritual world. But here what we see is just a reflection. And that is why there is no rasa. There is no enjoyment here. There is suffering here. Like for example, if you are near a river and then you have a mango tree. When you see the reflection of that mango tree in the river, you see the same tree, you see even the mangoes. But if you jump in the river to take the mangoes, what happens? Do you get the mangoes? Do you enjoy mangoes? In fact, you suffer. right? You suffer for two reasons. Number one, you didn't get what you wanted. Number two, the conditions of that place make you worse. Similarly, this material world is just a perverted reflection. We dive here, we jump here to take happiness, to get happiness, but happiness is somewhere else. It is not here in this material world. So that is why we don't remain happy all the time. And the reason for our miseries is three modes of material nature. This material nature is controlled by three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we are controlled by these modes completely. Our life, our day, our food, our worship, our austerity, everything is divided into these three modes. Whatever you do is into these three modes. So I'll briefly just would like to tell you what about this goodness, passion, and ignorance. So now let's talk of mode of ignorance, mode of goodness. I thought we should first go for ignorance. Okay. First we'll talk of mode of ignorance. Now I'm just giving you here some examples how you can know that a person is in mode of ignorance, passion, or goodness. And when you are seeing this, try to place yourself also where you are. Either you are in passion, goodness, or ignorance. So, in the mode of ignorance, what are the qualities we see of a person? Generally, he is foolish, dizzy and lazy, dejected, postponing the things. This is the nature of a person who is in mode of ignorance. He doesn't do the things, okay, maybe tomorrow, let's see day after, come after a week, I'll do this later, postponing. And then intoxicants are taken. This intoxicants is in the mode of ignorance. So people who are not able to maintain their good mode, they go for intoxicants. Then drugs, meat, wine, these all come in mode of ignorance. And sleeping too much. Yes, that also comes in mode of ignorance. And I'm seeing many of you sleep in the class also. So sleeping too much is in mode of ignorance. And they have nothing to do with God. They are just enjoying their own life. They have nothing to do with God. Why? Because they think that we are happy. We have everything what we wanted. Actually, it's an illusion. But a person becomes happy. Like if they get some money, he's very happy, but after some time, miserable. If he is in some relationship, this is what I wanted, finished, now I'll be happy. But after some time, miserable. So, they have got nothing to do with God. In one sense, they are mad and no interest in spiritual life. Now, these are some of the, it's not complete, some of the symptoms of a person in mode of ignorance. Now, let's go for mode of passion. The person in mode of passion is generally mad after seeing and showing glamour, right? Attracted by glamour. Glamour is really attractive, na? We see, okay, somebody is coming and then there are click, photographs are being clicked and lights and this and that. People are running behind, all that glamour. In the industry, movie industry, we see all this, isn't it? Right? So all this in the movie industry, and it is all glamour only, nothing else. There is no substance. It's just glamour. And the more glamorous you are, the more famous you are. The more glamorous you make anything, that is accepted by people more and more, right? You see how media creates glamour. Now we're talking of glamour actually, but I just thought I should speak something. How media creates. They have made so many things glamorous that for us, suppose Virat Kohli hits 5 sixes or something, it's like the whole country starts talking about it. And our 5 soldiers die on the front in Kashmir or on the border, hardly people talk about it. Because that has not been glamorized. Simple. It has not been glamorized. So it doesn't appeal to us. A bus accident doesn't appeal to us. What's 20 people died. We are interested what Virat Kohli did. Somebody was telling me that nowadays people are so crazy that, forget about the film stars, their children. Yeah. Aishwarya Rai's daughter started walking. Big news. Whoever, I don't know, I hardly see. So I'm just saying, why it has been glamorized, isn't it? We are running after that glamour. But the things, very important things for the nation, for your own life, they are not bothered about important things for the nation. They are not bothered about important things of your own life. Is it going to help some film star's child? Is he walking or is talking or whatever he is doing? Is it more important, or more important is where are you going? What is going to happen to you? Isn't it that important? We don't give importance to that. And that is why when we advertise, please come for Bhagavad Gita course, hardly people come. We are not able to glamorize Bhagavad Gita enough. That's our mistake, right? But they have been able to. Media has been able to glamorize so. Like I told you that day also, I told you example. Now we called for Bhagavad Gita course, few people came. We could have just given one notice that tomorrow so-and-so film star will be here. That's all we had to do. There will be great gate crash, police, control, this, that. We are not allowed to come in. Glamour, it's only glamour. So this is life of passion. So they are mad after seeing and showing glamour. Give charity for fame. So we do charity. We are very happy to do charity. Okay, I'm giving. So what I want my photograph to come. Okay, we'll give. Okay, I'm giving you this. Please click a photograph and then put it in newspaper. And the next day it's, oh, so-and-so person gave. I remember earlier in our temple, this is 20 years ago I'm talking of, we were collecting donations. So one person gave fans as donation. Ceiling fans. Some few fans, 5 or 6 fans he gave ceiling. We didn't know, he just gave us fans. We were very happy that somebody has given us ceiling fans. So we brought it, and then when we started it, when we put it on the ceiling, then we saw on each blade his name was written. Each blade, his name was given by this, given by. And we were thinking, oh my God, what is this? Yeah. So you see, this is mode of passion that you want to give, but you want your name. Hard labor for honor. They work very hard just so that they can get honor, like our politicians, right? They are so passionate about their honor. They cannot live without it. I have seen, one time I remember many years back, I had to go to meet a deputy chief minister of one state. And so this person was coming. He was a very powerful man, more powerful than CM. So he was coming, and I saw like about 100 people were standing, 50 on this side, 50 on this side, sir, sir, sir. And he's just walking past from them, and then police is trying to take them. Hey, get out. So I was just seeing his power, and he's coming. And then he was taking his lunch, and about 30 people are standing there. Sir, my application, this. And he said, okay. He was calling his PA, do something, and then do something. I was just watching him. Of course, he looked at us, and he was maybe a religious person. As soon as he looked at us, he said, hey, call them first. So he said, yes, Swamiji, what is your thing? Okay, please, you go. And he did it, everything. But I'm just saying, the power he enjoyed. So he was so passionate, and they work very hard. And once they lose it, the honor, they cannot live. Right? Very difficult for a person like the police and all protecting you, and then you lose your power. And then the same police people will say, thoda side mein khade ho jao, saab aa rahe. And then this, previous minister has no power now. So they work very hard. For them, money is honey. Right? Most of us are in that position. Hankering for family and family prestige. Right? Prestige is more important for them for any other thing. Then attraction between man and woman. This is a very important symptom of passion, which we see in this world. And Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, this is the main cause for all of us to be here in this world. This is the main cause which binds us here in this world, because it's a very strong attraction, right? It's so strong that many of our acharyas, one of our acharyas is called Rupa Goswami. He has written a lot of nice literature. He was a very renounced man. But he uses this example. He says, "Oh Krishna, I want to have an attraction towards you in the same way as a young girl has towards a young boy." The young boy or a girl has very strong attraction. He said, "I want to have that attraction towards you." So this attraction between male and female. And then they disregard scriptures. They don't bother about scriptures. Why? Because they are only bothered about enjoyment. And scriptures always obstruct, right? Don't do this, don't do that. They said, we don't want scriptures. And for them, religion is just a social affair, right? Many times, many people become members of ISKCON also. It's as a social prestige, right? So they can show, okay, I'm a life member of ISKCON, right? We tell them, if you really want to become life member of ISKCON, give your life to ISKCON. That is a real life member, isn't it? But anyway, so they have a religion just as a social affair, just to prove to the people that, see, I'm religious. They go to the temple just to show, or they will apply some tilak or something just to prove that I am a religious man. And then their mind is always disturbed and sleep is always disturbed. Passionate person can hardly sleep peacefully because passion doesn't allow you to sleep. So it is very difficult. Let's talk about mode of goodness, which is expected from all of you. Or maybe all of you are already in mode of goodness. Whatever I have spoken, ignorance and passion is not for you, I'm sure. That is why you must be thinking, why are they speaking all this? We don't even know what is this, right? We are above all this. So let's talk of goodness. Mode of goodness is honest. Now some things are coming which are things of past. Like some long ago, people were there who were honest. Now in Kali Yuga, we don't find honest people. Honest, he's selfless. So, he's thoughtful, he's helpful, pious. Take religion as a serious duty, not just a mode for show off. And then the reading of books of philosophy, poetry and science. This is his habits. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no liquor, no extramarital affairs or relationships. These are some of the things of a person who is in mode of goodness. So now, let's go further. So these are the three modes which binds us. What happens? What is the result of action in different modes? When you are in goodness, you are elevated to the stage of demigod, devata or angel, as you call it. If you are in passionate, next life you may become king, you may become a rich man, or you may become a madman if the passion is too high. If you are in ignorance, then you go back to the animal kingdom. You may become a bird, beast, reptile, or a tree. Tree also has soul. Tree is a living entity. And if you are in pure goodness, so beyond these three modes, beyond mode of ignorance, beyond mode of passion, beyond mode of goodness is pure goodness. And that pure goodness will take you back home, back to Godhead, to the kingdom of God. And that is what is the purpose of human life. Human life is meant to rise above ignorance, above passion, above goodness, and to reach pure goodness, so that we all can go back to the spiritual world. This is the purpose of human life. Otherwise, we are always bound by these three modes. They are like chains. And these three modes, just to give you an idea, in one family, Ravan, Kumbhakaran and Vibhishan. Right? There were three brothers. So Kumbhakaran was in mode of which mode? Ignorance. Yes. Why? Because he was always sleeping. And then Ravan was in mode of why? Because he wanted what I gave you so he wanted more and more. And Vibhishan was in mode of goodness. Okay. So here we see that these three modes are represented by Trishul, trident of Durga Devi. So Durga Devi keeps troubling us with this Trishul. Yes. But why is she doing that? It is her seva, it is her service to Krishna to give us trouble by these three modes. Why? Because she wants us to go back home, back to Godhead, to the spiritual kingdom. She doesn't want us to stay here. Because if you are happy here, you will never desire to go back home, back to Godhead, isn't it? Then you will say the same thing, Jina yaha, bas. So Durga Devi, she is a devotee. So she thinks that no, you should go back. So that is the reason she is giving us that trouble. To go back home, back to Godhead. So material world, we saw that in this material world we have punishment and purification both. So punishment is, we discussed the other day, birth, death, old age and disease and three miseries. Anyone remembers what are the three miseries? Yeah, natural calamities. What do we call it? Okay, forget about it. Next, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik. Okay, so these three miseries. So this world is meant for this punishment, and the purification is purification of ignorance, pride, anger, greed, all these products of different modes of material nature. And because we are in this material world, we get 8.4 million or 84 lakh costumes to wear, and we are chained by three modes of material nature. So now we discussed about material nature, Prakruti, very briefly. And the next topic I'll discuss is Kala, time. Now time, we are going to discuss time cycle in two ways. One is of the universe and the other is of our life. So two cycles, time cycle, how the time goes. So in the universal time cycle, there are 4 yugas. It's Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta and Satyuga. So like this, Sat, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. And all these 4 yugas make one Chatur Yuga. And the Chatur Yuga has 43,20,000 years. I was telling you yesterday about Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is not going to end. So Kali Yuga has 4,32,000 years, out of which only 5,000 have passed. 4,27,000 are remaining. So 2012, 2022, 32, nothing is going to happen. And Dwapar, Kali, Treta and Satyuga like this. And one cycle of whole universe is 7 crore 20 lakh Chatur Yugas. Any accountant here can tell me how many years? In one Chatur Yuga there is 43,20,000 years. So how many years in 7 crore 20 lakh Chatur Yugas? Anyway, I know no one. It's okay, we don't want to know, but just for your idea, okay? So this is universal time cycle, and what happens is, in each yuga, the nature of people changes, the mood changes, the method of worship changes, the dharma changes, everything changes in every yuga. So I'm just giving you what happens in each yuga. Like in Satyuga, people were very nice. So we could say, people used to say when somebody comes to their house, Atithi Devo Bhava. Right? This was Satyuga, where Atithi was treated as Deva. Really, Atithi was treated very nicely. And then Treta Yuga came, people started putting a board on their house, Shubhalabh, right? So earlier was Atithi Devo Bhava, then Shubhalabh. And then Dwapar Yuga came where people said, yes, Suswagatam, till people were happy, they were at least welcoming. But in Kali Yuga, what has happened? What is the board you find when you go to people's house? Kutton se savdhan. Right? This is what is happening in Kali Yuga. So this is how the mood changes. Now let's talk about life cycle. We spoke about universe cycle, then there is another cycle, life cycle. So life cycle means in our life we go through 6 stages. Birth, that is the first stage. Then we grow, then we remain or maintain, then we produce, and then dwindle and die. Anything in this world generally goes through these 6 stages. So whenever who has taken birth ultimately dies. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. One who has taken birth is sure to die, and one who dies is sure to take birth again. So that is why this is life cycle. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Shankaracharya says this, that again and again one has to take birth, and again one has to die, and then accept the womb of a mother. Iha sansare bahudustare kripiya pahe pare murare. Oh my dear Lord Krishna, please deliver me from this world. Very difficult. So this is lifetime cycle. Now, why do we have to go through the cycle of birth and death? As I said, from birth to death. What is the reason? Law of karma. And now we will begin speaking on the law of karma. Why do bad things happen to good people? Yes? Should we start it now or tomorrow? Sure, very important topic. Everyone wants to listen, right? I was thinking maybe tomorrow we can do it. Okay, we'll have it now. Why do bad things happen to good people? What is the reason? So why? Many times, how many of you in your life have faced setbacks? Or you were asking this question, why it happened to me? Some of you, of course, yes, setbacks, right? Some of you are honest, but I'm sure everyone had to face, right? We have to face setbacks, failures, troubles, reversals in life. Major setbacks. We plan something and then it is completely dashed. We think that this will happen. It doesn't happen. Life is going smoothly, suddenly someone in the family dies, and then you're thinking, what next? Right? Many times it happens. Like you have planned, okay, I will do this, then I'll do IIT, and then I'll do this, and you are in just 10th standard or 11th standard, and your father dies. And then you're left nowhere. What to do now? Who will run the family? How will I do IIT? It's all gone. Major setbacks. Or somebody is keeping money, investing, or he is depositing money in account. Okay, let me have, one day I will have this. I want to buy a flat. And suddenly something happens and all the money is gone. Or maybe one of your very close relative is hospitalized and they don't have money and you have to give all the money. And then you're thinking, oh, I thought I'll take a flat. Many things. So people die, you lose your money, or diseases, right? Diseases are really a major setback. If you have some chronic diseases. I was told there was one boy, he had studied law, very brilliant boy, and he started suffering from some disease, and disease was that he was forgetting what he is doing. Even 5 minutes before what he has done, he was not able to remember. So he had to write down everything and put the chits so to see. So he used to write, at 12:30 I have taken lunch. So that at 12:45 again he shouldn't start eating. So he used to write. So just imagine a brilliant boy, a law student, but just something happened to him, some disease, and throughout the life he was just like that. Simple thing, major setback. So anytime anything can happen to all of us. So at that time we ask this question, why me? Right? So many people are enjoying, nothing is happening to them, isn't it? Or you break your leg somehow. I was told there was one doctor actually, and he had some fracture in his leg, so for 1 month's rest he had to take. He couldn't walk. So he was telling that now I sit in my balcony, he was telling me, and I watch people walking and running. He said, now I'm realizing the power of walking. The enjoyment you get by walking. Because I just keep seeing them and I'm not able to walk. What to talk of running? See, we take so many things so cheaply, right? Like talking. We just talk, so we don't think that it is something very important. It is a gift of God. We don't think. Why? Because we are just talking. Ask those who have lost this power. They can't express themselves. They can't say anything. For them, we know the importance of talking. Or those who have lost eyes. So similarly, when we have setbacks, we ask this question, why me? So we are going to answer this question in this topic, karma. So before that, we understand that reincarnation, we already have discussed. Reincarnation is law of nature, right? The soul leaves the body and enters the new body. And it all happens by the karma. And when you keep on taking new body and leave old body, it is called sansar chakra. A person is there, then he dies, and then takes birth again dies. So this is called chakra, wheel of samsara. Sansara chakra, janma and mrityu, birth and death. And material nature gives us 84 lakh different kinds of bodies. They are like costumes, different costumes, right? This is from Padma Puran. Jalaja Navalakshani, Sthavara Laksha Vimshati, Kramayo Rudra Sankhyaka, Pakshinam Dasha Lakshanam, Trimshal Lakshani Pashavaha, Chatur Lakshani Manashaha. So here it is given that there are 9 lakh species of aquatics, those who are living in water. Then 20 lakhs non-moving living entities such as trees. 11, let's discuss one by one. So 9 lakh aquatics, right? Then 20 lakhs non-moving like trees. Then 11 insects and reptiles. 10 lakhs species of birds. Then we have 30 lakhs varieties of quadrupeds, means those who are running on 4 legs. And 4 lakh human species we have. So total it's about 84 lakh species. So this is basically a garment shop of material nature. Depending on your capacity, you can purchase or you cannot purchase, but depending on your capacity, you get a different costume. And the soul, please understand, if you see that spark in that picture, the soul travels from one species to another species to another, goes on a higher level. This is called evolution, not the evolution of Mr. Darwin. Mr. Darwin's evolution was that it was based on body, external feature. But this is based on consciousness. So this is how we get different bodies. And we see in this world, some people are very rich, some are very poor. How? Some are very strong. Some are born weak. Some are very beautiful and some are not. Some have a lot to eat and some not even a drop. Some get the best of the education and some don't have the basic needs. Please understand, these are not just photos. I visit Africa and I have seen this practically. What you're seeing here only on picture, only on photo, and we feel maybe it's just a photo. I have seen this. Exactly this is the condition. Or maybe worse. Maybe worse. So people are not, we are very fortunate in India that even beggars get something to eat. Isn't it? But in places like Africa, it's very difficult. So some are very fair, some are not, very dark. Some live in mansions, big, huge palaces, and some stay in small huts. Yes, some are born to rich parents, and some are born to poor parents. These all things, these differences we definitely see everywhere, isn't it? So once we see all this, what comes to our mind? A question comes to our mind that there is so much suffering around us. Is God responsible, partial, and cruel? Is He responsible for all the suffering we have? Is He cruel or He is partial? That He gives, some people He gives so nice facilities and others, they are suffering. So it seems that God is partial, isn't it? How can He give some people such nice facility and someone no facility at all? Or the other thing comes to mind is very cruel, that He's doing, He's allowing this suffering in this world. So what is the answer for this? Is God cruel? Is He partial? We understand this by law of karma. God or Krishna is like a judge. When the judge gives punishment to a person, he gives punishment to one person and awards compensation to other. So in awarding compensation and giving punishment, is he partial? How is he doing that? Based on the laws of the country, right? He goes for the constitution. This is the constitution, say these are the laws, you will be punished. These are the laws, you will be compensated. So do we call judge partial, cruel? No, he's just acting based on the laws. Similarly, for all of us in this world, there are laws of karma which act. Before we go on to discuss the law of karma, let me give you some example. What happens? Krishna is very merciful. So when he sees that you have taken a human birth, but then you are very much interested to go in the kitchen of a tiger, right? Have you ever seen a tiger coming to your kitchen saying that I'm fed up of eating deer and meat and all those things? Can I have some paneer sabji with some chapati or bhaj, or maybe sarson ka saag or makke ki roti, right? Anytime does he come to your... But we go to his kitchen. I'm fed up of eating chapati and sabji. Now let me have some meat and let me have some, different dishes. So, as per the laws of nature, if a person is too attached of eating non-veg food, meat, etc., which are prohibited in the Shastras, then he gets the body of a tiger in his next life. This is mercy of Krishna. Krishna says, oh, you want to eat? There's so much difficulty in human form to, eat meat. You have to go buy it from the market, bring it, clean it, and then, put masala and then cook it. And then why all these things? He said, become a tiger. No problem. No buying, no masala, no cooking. Just eat raw. So he makes you a tiger. Isn't he merciful? I hope you don't want such mercy. Another example, if you are too attached to eating, right? Like there are some people who eat to live, but there are others who live to eat, right? So, if you are too attached to eating, then you are given a very nice body of a pig next life, right? Keep eating. You see a pig, he never stops. He's always, he'll walk and he's looking for the food. His food, not our food. And you know what is his food. So he keeps looking, right? So person who's too attached to eating is called a glutton. There is a word called glutton. Glutton means a person who just keeps eating, right? All the time. His 24 hours, his consciousness is in eating. When can I eat? When can I eat? So then he becomes a pig. Another example. Sleeping, right? If you're too attached to sleeping, all the time you just want to sleep, wherever you are, you can sleep. In a moment's time, you can sleep. I always give this example, I never forget. I was in one temple, I had my office, and office was like this. I used to sit here, there was table, and the visitors will sit there. So one devotee came to me and he said, "Can I have your 5 minutes?" I said, "Yes, please tell me." He said, "My brother has come from Delhi and he wants to meet you specially." I said, "Okay, please bring him." So then he said, "Thank you." And then he went, and his brother and his sister, they were in their 60s, all of them. So they came, all three of them. So this devotee, he sat this side, and the sister, and then the brother who specially came to meet me. So he was there. And obviously, if they come to meet me, I will speak about spiritual topics. So I just started talking. Hardly 3 or 4 minutes, hardly, I heard somebody snoring. The office was small, so you could clearly hear. And there were only 3 of them. One I was talking, the other was a lady, his sister, whom I could see. And the third person was this side, I couldn't see. And obviously the snoring was coming from this side. So this person had come specially to meet me, taking the time that, I want to meet you and all these things. And within 3-4 minutes, he started sleeping. Not just sleeping, snoring. And his sister, she was sitting and she saw, and she was trying to, wake him up. Get up, get up. You can imagine how embarrassing it is, right? You're sitting in someone's office and you're, and not that like a lecture was going on, then you sleep, it's okay. Generally people sleep in lecture. Somebody asked me a question, why do I get sleep in the lecture? Because Krishna's name is so sweet, So as soon as you hear, you go to sleep. So it was very embarrassing, and the sister was, hitting him, "Hey, get up, get up." And he was like, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't laugh, obviously. Is it? All of you are laughing now. I couldn't do it. I'm sitting and I'm talking to this person, and I know there's somebody who's snoring, and the sister is trying to wake him up. And I was just controlling myself, what do I have to do? So there are some people who can sleep anywhere, right? Anytime. They have mercy of Nidra Devi. So they can sleep anywhere, anytime. But those who are too much attached to sleeping, then they are given a body of a bear. A polar bear, it can sleep for 6 months at a stretch. Descendants of Kumbhakarna, right? That is polar bear, can go on sleeping. So Krishna says that if you want to sleep, why do you need a human life? Go become a polar bear. Sleep as much as you want. How much can you sleep in this body, you tell me? In the human body. Maybe for a day. Suppose you are given freedom. Okay, you sleep as much as you want. How much will you sleep? 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 20 hours, 24 hours. Maybe koi Maharati hai to usse zyada, but I don't know, right? Right? So, but that's why he's given a bare body. And another example which is coming to my mind, that there are people who like to expose their body. right? Mr. Universe, Mr. Asia, or Miss Asia, or Miss Universe. They like to expose their body. It is said that these all people will become trees in their next life. That is why green revolution is now picking up, right? So in in future, we are going to see a lot of trees. And the reason is not that there are activists who are promoting green revolution. The reason is that other side, people are happy exposing their body, right? So that is why all of them are going to become trees. And then we will definitely see green revolution. So, these are some of the examples by which we can understand that there is a law that works. And let me give you an example from history, from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is example of Bharat Maharaj. Bharat means on whose name the country got the name Bharat. So he was a king of practically he was king of planet Earth. That time the entire planet Earth was known as Bharat Varsha. So he was ruling, and then he decided that now he has to achieve the self-realization, perfection of life. He has everything, so he gave up everything. He gave up his kingdom, his wife, his children, and he went to forest. That was a rule for the kings, that once you have established everything, once your kingdom is safe, once your child grows, he's ready to take the kingdom, then they should retire to forest. So he retired, but he retired to forest in a very young age, not very old. So he went to forest, he performed tapasya, austerity, became highly elevated. But at one time, he saw that he was just standing near the river, and this side of the river was a deer, a she deer. And then that side was a lion. And lion just saw, and he roared. Just by hearing the roaring, she was very afraid, and she jumped into the water. She died actually. But before dying, she gave birth to a baby deer. And this he saw. And then he saw mother is dead, baby is there, lion is there, and there are so many other ferocious animals here. So it is my duty that I should protect the baby. So he brought that deer into his ashram. And then he started protecting, taking care, slowly got attached to the deer. You can see the picture here? It's very much attached to the deer. And he got so attached that he always wanted to see the deer. And one day, the deer is deer anyway, animal of the forest, so he just disappeared. And Bharat Maharaj was looking around and seeing here and there, but he couldn't find. Ultimately, because he was so attached, so he became so miserable that remembering that deer, he gave up his body. He died. And even when he was dying, he was thinking about that deer. And that is why in his next life, he had to take the body of a deer. He got a body of a deer because his contemplation was such. So whatever we are thinking, whatever we are doing, that makes our next life. So Bharat Maharaj had to take the body of a deer in next life. Whenever I narrate this incident, what comes to my mind is that Bharat Maharaj was attracted by only one deer. And in our life, we have many deers, isn't it? Dear wife, dear children, dear family, dear nation, whatever. We have so many deers. And how attached we are, right? So this story basically informs us that how careful we should be in our life, that not to lose. Bharat Maharaj, he gave up his kingdom, his wife, his children, everything, such a big sacrifice, but still he got attached to a deer. Why? He forgot the purpose of his life. So what this incident informs us is never forget the purpose of your life. You can go on doing whatever you're doing in your life, in the sense if it is taking you to the right direction. But if you lose or if you forget the purpose of your life and you're not trying to go towards that, then your life will be unsuccessful, although you may get lot of things of this material world. Be very careful about it. So Bharat Maharaj, he had to take birth. So this is called law of karma. Like those of you who have studied science, you have studied Newton's laws. The third law of Newton states, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So law of karma also works on the same principle. As you sow, so shall you reap. This is the definition of law of karma. So that is why we should be very careful how to perform any act. Be very careful. We have a choice of performing act. Before performing the act, we have some choice. So be very careful, otherwise we'll have to suffer the reaction. So now what are the different kinds of karma? There are three kinds of karmas, activities. Number one is called karma or good activities. Number two, it's called vikarma or bad activities. And number three are called akarma or neutral activities. These are three activities which we perform. Krishna speaks about them in Bhagavad Gita and he says one should know what are these. He says, karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. He said one should know what is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma. These three things one should definitely know. So, karma means good activities, and vikarma means bad activities, akarma means neutral activities. Let me give you some example of karma. Karma means good activities, helping people, opening orphanage, hospitals, giving food to poor. This is coming into good activities. And the result of that is, if you perform good activities, you can achieve heavenly situations or heavenly planet. You can go on the higher level of this material world. Now second is vikarma, bad activities like eating meat. Now for some eating meat will be good, for some it will be bad. So why are we saying it is bad activities? Just because I don't eat, should I say it is bad activity? How can I say that? It may be bad for me, may not be bad for others. So why are we categorizing it into vikarma? Good activities we understand, we said helping others, orphanage, this everyone understands, this is good for everyone. But when you talk of bad activities, when you talk of vikarma, you say you should not eat non-veg or you should not eat meat. This is not good for you, maybe. You have taken a life where you say, but why are you telling me? It is good for me. It is good for my health, maybe. It gives me a lot of proteins. Or I can't eat without it. It gives me a lot of taste. So why are you saying it is vikarma? Please understand, I am not saying. Because I am no one to decide what is good or what is bad. It is the scriptures which decide which is what is good and what is bad. And scriptures are word of God. And God is someone who has created this world. Now, someone who has created this world also knows what is good and what is bad. So when he brands something as bad, something as vikarma, something as sinful activities, we accept it. That is why this branding is not done by us. This is done by scriptures, and scriptures are words of God. So vikarma means bad activities like eating meat or even gambling, drinking, liquor, wine, etc., and having extra marital affairs or illicit relationships. So these are, in present times, we can say these are the major 4 activities which are considered as Vikarma, which are prohibited in the Shastras, that one should not do it. And if you do it, like we said, the result of good activities was you go to heavenly situations. But result of bad activity is you get hellish situations. Hellish situation you may get here in this life, or after this life you may go to some place where you will have to face such situation. Because even in this life we suffer many hellish situations, right? One time I went to one place where they were making iron, and the molten iron was put, and then they were melting it, and then they were making it into different. It was so hot. I think they told me around 1200 degree or 1800 degree they do it. I don't remember, but I couldn't even go near, and the workers were working there. And when I saw it, I told them that you don't need to go to hell. You're already there. Right? And many times we suffer here. We suffer like I was giving you in the beginning example of setbacks, and then we suffer here. We have to face reaction, hellish situation here itself. And if you don't face it here, then after death, hell is ready for you. Like you see some pictures there. In the Shastras it is said that what kind of punishment do you get in hell. And I'm not going to speak to you. Tonight you're going to sleep, and I want you to sleep nicely. So I'll speak about it tomorrow, what kind of punishments are given in the hell. So this is about Vikarma, and Akarma means neutral activities, like activities not performed for yourself, but activities performed for Krishna. They are called as neutral activities. So you don't get good results, you don't get bad results out of it. And then what is the use of performing anything, right? At least you should get good result. No, because good and bad both binds you in this world. So in neutral activities, you don't get good or bad result of this world, but you get the best result which takes you to the spiritual world. That is neutral activities. So this is what we discussed as law of karma. So tomorrow we will continue this. We have many things on this law of karma. We have just begun. We just told you what is law of karma. Now there is duration, how long it goes on. Then there is question that something which I have done in past life, I don't even remember. Why should I suffer it in this life? Then do I have a free will, or I don't have a free will? I'm just about whatever is going on. Should I go ahead like that? So many things. And then finally, why do bad things happen to good people? What is the cause? We are going to discuss it tomorrow, and we will also discuss about the yoga system and topmost, whatever is the topmost yoga system, we will discuss it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
For more such devotional programs, please watch Hare Krishna television. To get this channel, please contact your cable or DTH operator. For more information, please call 8767 845 845.